Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Georgia Sports Nation. We got some more Hawks and
Yes.
Braves content coming to you live, and we got some interesting talk for sure. This afternoon, we got news that Nate McMillan from a Shams report the Hawks are experiencing turmoil among multiple levels of the organization, including a possible resignation from Nate McMillan. We're going to be talking about our opinions on that article and as well as what was discussed. Also recapping the 2 L's we had the Hawks take, unfortunately, to the Pacers and the Nets, and previewing the Lakers and Hawks games tonight that will start at 7:30 after the show. Also, at the end, we're going to be discussing some Braves talk, including how the Braves extended another main piece in Sean Murphy and traded for their left-handed pitcher that they needed this whole offseason in Lucas Luetge. So, without further ado, let's get into the Atlanta Hawks talk. So, overall, as we got Big Ant and Roundtable Sports here with me tonight, overall, what have you guys seen from the Atlanta Hawks in this stretch where we're injured? We took these 2 L's that we're going to dive into on this show. What have you guys seen so far? What have you guys seen as the problems these last few weeks?
Not being connected on defense. That's one.
Yes.
And then,
especially the Pacers loss.
Yeah, especially in the Pacers loss. Not moving the ball. Like, we come down the floor and it either sticks in one person's hands or you pass it once and then you sit there and dribble for like 10 minutes and then you shoot the ball. You can't do that.
Yeah, it's not good offense.
Yeah, that's about it, man. I mean, not moving the ball. That's the main. That's what I say every single game. We have to move the ball.
Yeah, that's what plagued us, and we'll go into this in great detail a bit later. But that's what really hurt us in the Brooklyn loss when we just scored 17 points in the third quarter. That offense was really rough to watch. ISOs with Bogey, and without Trey in that game, ISOs with Bogey, ISOs with DeJounte. Like that's not the offense we want to run. What have you seen, Josh?
Yeah.
What have you seen, Roundtable? You there? Like, Josh, are you there?
Glitching.
You really?
You're breaking up a little. You're breaking up. Oh, okay. As technical difficulties, it'll probably be back in a bit. Hopefully, he gets his internet working. But as we move in from the introductory comments to this Pacers loss, that's the main point we want to focus on with that ball movement. That was actually in the Nets game, but in the Pacers game, your first point and about the defense and just getting back was the main issue. Clint Capella was out this game. Onyeka really stepped up on the offensive end. Great offensively. But as far as the defensive side of the ball, the Pacers just kept getting to the rim at will. It was nonstop fast breaks. It wasn't like we were stopping them in the half court and they were hitting tough shots. These shots, they got open looks. Buddy Hield killed us from three. He went 6 of 7 from three, actually, and 11 from 16 from the floor. So that just shows you how easy of the shot quality and the fluidity of Indiana's offense was against our porous defense. And especially with Tyrese Halliburton handling that offense, they're going to find open shots as both Halliburton and Hield torched us for 23 and 28 respectively. What did you see from the 3-point defense? That they were killing us in the paint, but also at the 3-point line as they didn't shoot overall well as a team, but just Buddy Hield, just covering him. What did you see that allowed him to get all these open looks?
Too much open space. Like dating back to when he played in Sacramento, I believe.
Yep.
You can't give him that much space.
Yeah, he's like
yes, like when he catches the ball, you have to get up on him like right then. If not, he's gonna do like he did. He's gonna light you on fire.
Yeah, he's similar. He's similar in many ways, in my opinion, to a Jordan Clarkson or like Malik Beasley for the Jazz. That if they get that ball, the shot is going up. Yes. It's a couple seconds. It's a couple mils. It's a couple deciseconds, and it's up. So that's why one of the things that really plagued us in that game was not having either of our main either of DeAndre Hunter, our main defensive guy, or Clint Capella. Obviously, DeJounte Murray was on Tyrese Halliburton, and he actually did a fairly good job holding Halliburton to 23 points and inefficient 3 of 8 from the 3-point line. But overall, DeAndre Hunter would have helped so much chase Buddy Hield around these screens and give length so that he could contest those threes really easily. But those 3-point shots were open for Buddy, and with Clint Capella out, him being a superior defender to Onyeka just really allowed the Pacers to keep getting downhill. Yeah. We've seen Clint Capella in especially like the game I really like to bring up to just really show how good Clint Capella is for this team is the Nets game on the road from a couple weeks ago. He was able to stop fast breaks from just getting back and asserting himself at the perimeter. You don't see big guys like Clint Capella really be able to handle himself on the perimeter like he has this year. But after the Achilles surgery and the bad year last year, he's been healthy and been phenomenal this year. We've got to get him back as soon as possible. He's out, I believe, tonight too. So it's 3 games in a row with a calf strain he's missed.
I just hope we get DeAndre Hunter back. Soon.
Badly.
That's who we're missing.
LeBron is actually playing tonight after being questionable too. Once we get into the previewing the Lakers Hawks tonight, we'll definitely get into more of that and how DeAndre Hunter's missing in action today will hurt the Hawks a lot more.
Right.
But Benedict Mathurin also hurt us off the bench for Indiana. He's been definitely top 5 rookie of the year so far. Banchero is running away with it as of now. But Benedict Mathurin added 18 points. He was a plus 11 off the bench. And while he didn't shoot well from 3, he got to the line 6 times. And that just shows, you had Buddy Hield going from the 3-point line. You had Benedict Mathurin now going to the paint. And Indiana could score in a multitude of ways with Buddy, Benedict Mathurin, and Tyrese Halliburton on the floor at the same time, with Halliburton and Benedict Mathurin being the main drivers and Buddy Hield being the main threat from the 3-point line. That triple threat when that lineup was in really hurt the Hawks. And the defensive versatility that we normally have with DeAndre Hunter and Clint Capella, we didn't have that, and that's what really hurt us. 129 points giving up to the Pacers is that's terrible. They're a good offensive team, but we should not be giving up 129 to anyone.
They're not that good. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they've been an exciting team to watch. Like they're 18 and 17. It's a respectable record. They're better than us right now, but we just can't allow 129 points to any team with how much our offense was struggling early, and expect to win. It's just plain and simple. You just can't do that. Yeah. One stat I really want to bring up from this game is the points in the paint. We already know that Buddy Hield torched us from the 3-point line with 6 of 7 threes. But the Pacers also scored 60 points in the paint compared to our 46, in which we normally lead that category. Right. That was probably the most alarming stat from this game. Would you agree, or do you think another stat was the turning point?
No, you spot on. Yeah, that's what opened up the 3-point line for Buddy Hield, because they were, we allowed them to get in the paint and score that many. We had no rim protection at all. We didn't stop the ball like on a fast break or anything like that. So it was just all you can eat in the paint.
Yeah, and in this game, unfortunately, Onyeka Okongwu has been playing really well as of late. We've seen him come out of his mid-season slump, if you will, these last 2 weeks, and really assert himself on the offensive end. But in this game, he really struggled against Miles Turner and the rest of the Pacers centers. Jalen Smith also played a good amount at center off the bench. He only had 6 points and 8 rebounds and was a -9 with no blocks. So that just goes goes to show you with your point about the rim protection.
Right. Yeah.
There was also I did want to see one thing. Oh yes, John Collins in this game and in the Nets game without Clint Capella, John Collins seems to really play well on offense, and it may just be coincidence from the 3-point shooting. John Collins found his 3-point shot in this game, and he hit a 3-point in the Nets game as well. JC with a team high 26 against the Pacers and 10 rebounds, and added a block and went 3 for 6 from 3. I mean, when's the last time you remember John Collins scoring 3 3-pointers?
Maybe last year.
Maybe last year. Yeah, I think the only time I remember it was, I mean, in the first 2 games of this year, JC shot the 3-ball incredibly well. So maybe he had that in the first couple of games, but this is a really big turning point for JC. This game and the Nets game, he also hit a 3 in the Nets game. Well, he didn't take a lot. He only shot 3 versus the Nets. He did make one of those, and he had a great game offensively again, putting in 21 points and another 8 rebounds. So if JC can continue this offensive efficiency with Clint Capella and his shot is still there, you no longer want to trade JC at all, because that his defense this year and his shooting can be valuable to this team.
Oh yeah. The thing is just getting all of them on board at the same time.
Yep.
That's the biggest key.
With DeJounte, because it seems like Trey and DeJounte can never be like on fire at the same time. Once DeJounte is going, you see Trey struggle with the shot. When Trey figured it out, you see DeJounte struggle with his patented mid-range shot. He was missing a ton of those in the last few games. He's got to be more efficient. Roundtable, can you hear us?
Yeah, I've been able to hear y'all. Can y'all hear me?
Okay, now you can hear us. Okay, good. Back. So, one thing we were discussing was in this Pacers loss, how much just we got destroyed on both the paint and at the 3-point line. How do you think that improved versus the Nets, in which we only allowed up 108 points? But what did you think was the main difference in between both games?
Oh man, so much to recap and get into. But the difference probably was just, I don't know, just pushing more down the court. What we also need to do, like I was saying earlier, I feel like we need to space the floor more. That also helped. It's too much standing around, like Ant was saying, and not enough people, trying to get open. You're too close to the ball handler. Nobody's getting open, spreading the floor. And then, like you were saying, good defense turning and great offense. Been saying that all year.
Yeah.
I think, has been, we're not able to close out the games.
Yeah, that's one thing that I really liked about the Nets game. Our late game execution in the Nets game, besides the whole timeout fiasco and the last possession, in which we'll dive into that in detail in a bit later in the show. But overall, that Nets game down the stretch, we went head to toe with the Nets, and with 2 elite shot creators who led them down the stretch, and we matched them shot for shot with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. We were down 11 in the fourth quarter at some point, and we came back because of that defense in the fourth quarter, and we made those shots down the stretch. We only allowed 25 points in that fourth quarter to try and come back from that awful 17 points in the third quarter, but it ultimately wasn't enough, as we had that last play fiasco. One thing I do want to discuss here is Michael Sykes says we need to get rid of Trae Young. He got Coach Nate McMillan wanting to retire from basketball. To be honest, I don't think we. First of all, Trae Young it's a players' league right now. They're going to want to appease Trae Young more than they want Nate McMillan. So the Hawks organization is definitely not getting rid of Trae Young so Nate McMillan can be the coach. That's one thing. But we've seen this article from Shams Charania today, who, if you didn't know, they he posted an article on the Athletic saying that it's in the midst of a turbulent season. Nate McMillan has strongly considered resigning from his position. Mike Conti, who does Atlanta United games on 92.9 and also does the pregame and postgame show on the Hawks on 92.9, said that Hawks CEO Steve Koonin said that it's trash journalism. This is made up stuff. He's literally calling Shams out, and it's just hack journalism. That's a big deal to call out if CEO of your organization is calling out a journalist like that specifically and not just kind of hinting at anything. This is a big deal, and I just want to get your guys' thoughts on the way that Shams has caught all that caught all this backlash from that article. Even though nobody's questioning it, people are questioning his sources and stuff. Before, Shams was obviously a reputable source, but now because of this article, people are always questioning his sources. What is your guys' reaction to that?
It happens in every sport.
Bull crap. It's bull crap. Let's just look. That's bull crap. That's bull crap. Look, Mikey, you just said it. You literally just said it. From the beginning of the time, that the NBA has been a player's game. It's from Michael Jordan, all from Magic Johnson in the 80s, the early 80s. These players have always ruled the league. So it's not uncommon for players to have a X amount of pull when it comes down to the particular scheme they want to play in, the type of offense, the defense, how the offense is run. Like, it's not uncommon for these guys to kind of have ultimate say. You saw Michael Jordan earlier. He didn't quite like the way that Chris before, what's his name? Chris. I think Chris. I forget his name, but he didn't like before Phil Jackson. I always get his name, but he didn't like the way his offense run. And Phil Jackson came in and kind of got into the triangle offense, so he kind of found it too. LeBron has pretty much had his style of offense. He's run through several head coaches. You saw with Golden State, Steph didn't really like the way that Mark Jackson was running things, so they end up bringing in Steve Kerr. So it's not uncommon for players to find their particular coach. I don't see a problem with it. So for me, when you talk about how Trey, if this is true, if these sources is true, I don't have a problem with it. It's just the way it is. This is just the way the NBA is never going to change. You just have to deal with it. Deal with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Doug Collins. I said Chris Collins. Good God.
What do y'all say?
I 100% agree. Just got to deal with it. I mean, Trae Young is our superstar. I mean, there's no way around it.
And to be honest, we don't know that Trae is the reason that Nate McMillan wants to retire from basketball. We saw Travis Schlenk step down. Now we've seen this article. There's just so much turmoil going on in this organization, unfortunately, that really everything by the media right now has got to be taken with a grain of salt, in my opinion.
Yep.
Steve Koonin to come out and say that. Sorry about that, Blackberry, but before Steve Koonin to come out and say he's this is absolutely untrue. Sham, he better come out with some proof. It better come from Nate McMillan himself, because his career is going to be in jeopardy from this point on. To have a executive of that, he better have some backup.
Yeah, Nate McMillan's son, Jamel McMillan, who's on our coaching staff as assistant coach. If y'all didn't know, he came out on Twitter and replied and said, "Check your sources, Chams. This is not true."
Wow.
So, like, this is it's a big deal, and but it's a big deal, made up to be a big deal. But I really don't think that Shams article said anything really conclusive and said something of importance. I really don't.
And that's the thing right there. It's not. It's really not a big deal, but the media, for some reason, they're determined to tear this team down. Do anybody else realize that?
Mm-hmm.
They're determined to tear this team down. And I'm being so real when I say this. It's something about Atlanta teams that sports leagues do not like. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's our city and they feel like we already got enough popularity with entertainment and in the hip hop industry and in the movie industry. We don't need sports. We got all these political figures that's being branched out into different parts of the country. That's from Georgia. We got all this. We're known in so many different areas. We also known in the agriculture area. We're known in the freight industry. We're known in so many different areas, and we got so much different revenue coming in, and we got a lot of people moving to Georgia. And we got so many people moving to Atlanta that I really believe this. And this is beyond conspiracy theorist. If you look at the facts, the population growing intensely, us having so much revenue coming in so many different areas in this state, in the state of Georgia, that these sports leagues are determined to not let us have a good sports, to be known in sports. They don't want it. They don't want Trae Young to be successful here. They want Trae Young somewhere else because they say, why do we need it? Why does Atlanta need it? Why? And I'm being so serious when I say that. I'm not joking at all. Mm-hmm. People need to open their eyes and look at what's going on right. The media is determined to tear this team down. Yeah. They're determined to tear them down. Any sign, any glimpse of there might be some turmoil in the locker room, they hurrying up, they jump into assumptions, and they making up their own storylines to get clickbait. Any kind of this players might not be happy. They gonna turn it into they're not happy, or this player don't get along with the coach. This player, the coach want to retire all of a damn sudden. Nate McMillan ain't gave us no reason whatsoever to think that he's ready to be done coaching basketball.
None.
He's giving us nothing at all.
Not a nail, not.
And if his son is telling you that's bullshit, if his son is telling you that, don't you think you need to listen to his son, to the closest person to him on the staff?
Yeah,
this is getting ridiculous. I'm getting sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of fans talking about get rid of Trae Young. Y'all the dumbest damn people I ever seen in my life. You dumb. It's just dumb. You got a guy that's giving you 25 and 10, and you talking about get rid of him. It's dumb. We not that franchise, bro. That's not what our front office is about.
That's true. Even though we got turmoil in our organization, getting rid of Trae Young is not going to be something that this organization goes all the way into that turmoil to try. There's no way.
We're not the New York Knicks. Okay, stop it. Just stop it.
And that's the end of that.
And my thing is, do we really have turmoil, or is this something that's just been pushed through the media?
No, we with Travis Schlenk stepping down, and we also with Travis Schlenk stepping down, and we've also gotten a lot more turmoil from the media this year. It's definitely not. It definitely can be looked at as turmoil, in my opinion at least. But that's Brad Rowland has also said that there is definitely a lot of turmoil going on in the organization. So if a Hawks beat reporter says it, I'm more inclined to believe it than national like Shams.
I don't believe it, man. I really don't. Turmoil to me, that's a strong word. That's indicating that things are about to implode with the Atlanta Hawks organization. That's when you go, because when I watch this team play, and even though they've had their issues, I don't see nobody out there playing like, oh, we in dismay in the locker room, or we in
Going through the
dismay in the
motions.
coaching staff, or we in dismay in the front office. We see, if you didn't see Travis Schlink doing it, I seen this coming. He's transitioning his way out of those roles. That's what he's been doing. He's been transitioning his way out of these roles. He went to the president role from the GM role for a reason. He doesn't want to be that involved. He wants to have input, but he really just wants to be in an advisory role. And eventually he ain't gonna be at nothing. He just gonna straight up retire. So I don't see no turmoil. When I think of turmoil, I think about the shit that was going on down in Miami and LeBron last year down there in Miami. That was turmoil. I think about what was going on over there with the Brooklyn Nets just a half of a year ago. That's turmoil. I don't think of turmoil when I think about the Hawks. I just think about they're victims of circumstance. We're keeping guys together on the floor through injury. Once we get a stroke of luck and keep these guys together, it's not going to be a problem.
Oh yeah, I think once we get healthy, and especially how we started the year, we're going to be fine. But I just think that there is some trouble in the organization. Hopefully that we can get that fixed. But last thing I wanted to mention about this Indiana game, John Collins. I really want to focus on this game and the absence of John Collins. The absence of Clint Capella and how that affects John Collins. We've seen 2 games now in Indiana, and we'll transition into the Nets game for this. Indiana, he dropped 26 points and made 3 threes, shot 11 of 17 from the floor, and for 26 points and 10 rebounds. John Collins, as ultimately this year, we know it's been a down year offensively for him. But if he can figure out his 3-point shot, this offense can go back to what it could have been since Trey found his shot as well. If that's all that was really the 2 main things holding us back: Trae Young's 3-point shot and JC's 3-point shot. If they figure that out, our offense can be back to that middle of the pack that we expected it to be. We knew it would be some offensive aggression, adding DeJounte Murray and getting rid of some shooting. But the defense was top 10 early in the season when we had everybody there. This team can get back. Do you guys think this team can get back to around a mid, 15 to 12 offense if John Collins can figure out his 3-point shot back? Because we know Trey already has. He shot 40%. He shot above 38% his last 5 games from 3.
I do. I believe it. I believe we can get back to that because it's going to start on the defensive end. If we can get stops on defense and start spreading the floor like Josh said, and start hitting down our shots, we're good. Because we all know that they can shoot. They might be spotty shooters, but they can shoot. And I think we can get back to what we were in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I agree. And with that, we'll transition. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I don't see a problem. It's basketball. It's sports. You're gonna go through transition periods where you're not playing at your best. The best players have always had. If you go back, I believe it was 2021, where Steph Curry was having he was just having a down year shooting.
Oh, yeah.
3-point shooting just all the way down, and then he just magically found it. So it happened. I think the problem is with being in Georgia, fans are they're just impatient. They're very impatient, and they just don't understand that it takes time for this team has not been together before. I feel myself saying the same thing. I feel myself saying the same thing that I said about the Falcons. This is the first year they've been together. DeJounte and Trey have never played together. What do you expect? Most of these guys have never ever played with DeJounte. It takes time. They have to find their spaces. They have to find their spots. They have to understand their teammates and where they like them and where we can set them up and put them in position where they can succeed. Where Clint Capella is one of those guys you don't necessarily need him to, to shoot the ball a lot. So it's easy to get him easy buckets and whatnot. But you got guys like DeAndre Hunter. He's a shooter. He's a spot up shooter, so he has to find his spots in the offense. That takes time. It's going to take more than a couple of months, people.
That is true. That is true. And Hawks Twitter is the worst of that. It panics every game. Every game after a loss. Oh, this team needs to go in a rebuild. Oh, trading all those picks for DeJounte. He's going to leave after a couple of seasons because our organization is a bad organization. Like you see that after every single loss in Twitter Spaces.
Every single loss.
Every single
one.
And let me say, because this has been on my mind too, real quick. Just who the hell cares about Luka scoring 60?
No,
what else the other team is doing? The team is doing nothing.
Nothing.
They just as equal as what the Hawks are doing.
Yeah.
And we're panicking over that. Luka's gonna shoot 50 times a game. Luka's gonna have the ball majority of he's like LeBron. They're gonna have the ball dominant. So his numbers are gonna be inflated. That's just the way that the offense is. Well, when you look at Dallas in itself, they're never going to be a championship team because he's a ball dominant guy. He is not LeBron. He's never going to be LeBron. LeBron is a once in a lifetime type of athlete. When you got a ball dominant guy and he dominates the game and he makes his teammates, you're not going to see too many guys like that. Luka, he doesn't make his team better. Luka is going to get his numbers, and he's going to look great.
It doesn't make his team better, but his teammates are not all that good. That's why I said it's Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks, not the Dallas Mavericks. But I want to focus on this Southside comment right here because Justin Holiday this season has obviously and for good reason got a lot of slack for his shooting, his shot selection. He's still defending pretty well, but one point I like to bring up with Justin Holiday, and you guys can say your thoughts on this as well. In my opinion, I always thought Justin Holiday was a quality NBA player. He's always been a plus defender in his career, but it seems like we got Justin Holiday just on the downturn of his career in terms of his shooting. He's always been a good three-point shooter. He's been a career mid-30s three-point shooter, and unfortunately now it seems like he just cannot find his shot anymore. It's been pretty much the whole season. What do you guys think of that? Like, do you think Justin Holiday deserves a spot in the rotation anymore?
We need his defense.
So would you say it's Jalen Johnson and Justin Holiday pretty much right now?
Right.
Would you say that you want to see Jalen or Justin more?
I want to see Jalen more.
Me too.
I look defensive. Look, I don't give a damn about all that defense during the regular season. If he finally gets his shot together, then yeah. But during the regular season, we need offense. We need people to score. And if he can come in the playoffs, pick up his shot, then so be it. But I'm tired of seeing Brick's side of the backboard. I don't want to see Russell Westbrook again. I'm sick of it. I don't need it.
Yeah, and I'm glad that Jalen got into that rotation in the Nets game as we transition into that now. I'm glad he was in the Nets game because he's been giving us great defense. Just Jalen Johnson's off-ball defense leaves a lot to be desired. His off-ball defense,
right?
But on ball, he's been amazing. He defended Kevin Durant well, made him take contested tough shots, and it's kind of the opposite with AJ Griffin. AJ Griffin is a great off-ball defender. He's leading rookie in steals. He's got great pass perception. But on ball, people can go by him easy. So it's funny. It's kind of an opposite from those two. But we're going to deal with the elephant in the room, which is that last play of the Nets game. What did you guys see going on? As I'll play this clip right here, and I'll say my kind of why I think that a timeout should have been called after we view this clip right here. I've also got some screenshots to analyze some situational awareness from Nate McMillan and DeJounte Murray after.
Hawks are going to play. 4 seconds, 3. We're down 1. A chance to win it. Murray, back iron, no good, and Brooklyn survives.
And at the end of that clip, you can see Bogey kicking the ball into the stands. He got a $25,000 fine for that one today. It was announced, but he earned that one for sure. What did you guys see in that final play, and do you think a timeout should have been called?
Nate is an idiot for that. I'm sorry. Nate is an idiot for that. You can't have healthy. This is not how DeJounte plays. That's how Trey plays.
Yep.
Trey is a helter-skelter type of player. That you do things like that when you got to know your personnel. And I thought he was just that he. Yeah,
it was rough to watch.
That was. How do you not call a timeout? Like I don't understand that. Every great coach understands moments, and you gotta like I said, you gotta understand your personnel. That's not DeJounte. He's not a 3-point shooter. Trey is a 3-point shooter, and to have him in that moment to, ultimately shoot a 3. Just thought it was that should have been a timeout. Yeah. You should be able to, and his reasoning for not calling a timeout disturbed me more than the actual not calling another timeout.
Me too. Because he said, if you didn't see the quote after his post-game presser, he said that he wanted to catch the Nets in transition and catch them all backpedaling to set up the defense. But if I pull up the screenshot here that I got from the play, I'll take the banner away. Look at here. And as Ant just said, or go ahead, Ant. Explain what you were going to say.
Okay, you got 2 defenders already on the 2 up in the backcourt, and then behind you got somebody on bogey already, and then where you gonna go? You have nowhere to go.
Yeah, this situation right here, and timeout management is obviously mainly on the coach, for sure. But DeJounte Murray also, in my opinion, kind of has to play a role in this because as a point guard, look, you've got Kyrie Irving and T.J. Warren coming with him in the backcourt when Royce O'Neal, Nick Claxton, and Ben Simmons Kevin Durant are already in the backcourt.
Yep.
Or you've got 2 guys in front of you, and you've got a 3-on-2 that favors the Nets. Yep. Where's an open shot going to come from here when you have 3 seconds left and you're not even past half court? Once you realize that as a point guard,
if he does anything, he needs to hit that the left side of the floor a lot harder to force the guy in the middle. I believe that's the center.
Yeah,
to force him in the middle. That's Kevin Durant. All right. So if he goes hard to the left towards the sideline, as if he's taking a timeout and forces Bogey to kind of find the middle of the court, and then off of that. But like this is where I say, yeah, this is definitely on
Nate.
Yeah, it's definitely on Nate, but you gotta give DeJounte Murray a lot. He attacked the middle of the court instead of attacking the side.
Yeah, and also I like the point that you bring up to attack. If you attack that far side, and not even attack, if you pass that to Onyeka, obviously it's hard because Onyeka is not a. And I'll play the clip again. I'll try and talk loudly over it. If you give that to Onyeka, he's got a 2-on-1 in the corner, and he can give it to AJ in the far side. So if we go back to the screenshot, obviously Onyeka Okongwu is not a good dribbler. He's not going to bring the ball up the court. So I don't blame DeJounte for not doing this. But let's say if that's AJ Griffin or Jalen Johnson, and somebody else is in the corner, in the far corner, you create a 2-on-1, leaving the corner open or leaving an open driving lane. Instead, we get a contested 3 over 2 guys who it was a questionable of contest, of course, but the last 2-minute report showed that there was no foul on the play. So ultimately, it did look like a foul in a lot of replays, but the last 2-minute report said it wasn't. So That was interesting, but unfortunately, it ended up with a loss. But I don't want that to be the only thing we go over in this game because there were some bright spots in this game. DeJounte Murray with 24, 9, and 8. John Collins with another good game, 21 and 8. Jalen had 14 off the bench in a great offensive performance, one he needed to boost that confidence. And Bogey added 14 off the bench as well. The quarter that killed us was that third quarter with 17 points. And as Ant said in the beginning of the show, that was caused by just ISO and no ball movement. If you want to explain what you saw in that quarter, Ant, a little bit more.
No ball movement. Like we'll come down the court. Either it sticks in the ball handler's hand, or you'll pass it one time and then jack up a shot. Not even trying to look at the basket or go to the paint. Or you'll give it to Bogey, which dribbling is not his strong suit. He's catching, but we can't do that.
Yeah, he's not a you can have Bogey on the court as like a secondary or tertiary playmaker, but he's not going to be a primary ball player. That should not be what he is.
No.
And for the Nets, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, they're going to do their thing. 26 for KD and 16 rebounds to go along with 8 assists and 2 blocks. Kyrie had 28 with 8 assists. And Nick Claxton really hurt us. He was able to play well against Okongwu with 17 points, 10 rebounds, and a whopping 6 blocks. So with the Capella absence really hurting. But with that being said, Okongwu still had a good game. 18, 13 with 3 blocks. And Onyeka, if we put that Pacers game as an outlier to the side, the last 2 weeks, Onyeka Okongwu has really showed us what he can do and how he started the season off. I'm really liking his offensive aggressiveness. That mid-range shot is looking good. And as well, he's starting to not foul as much. Slowly but surely, he's adjusting to not getting in foul trouble every single game. So I really like what I'm seeing from Onyeka Okongwu these last.
He's starting to trust himself.
That's a great point because he'll often leave his feet early and he'll bring his hands down, instead of staying straight up, he'll come down to the block, and that's where he'll get those fouls. But it's really good to see Onyeka be able to stay on the floor. And right now with Clint Capella out, we need him to stay on the floor as much as possible because, Lord knows we do not want to see Frank Kaminsky get important minutes on the Atlanta Hawks.
Please, Lord. We're begging you, please not.
Please stay on the court, Onyeka. And I like Nate McMillan's adjustment. He's seen that Frank Kaminsky is a hologram on defense, and he's playing DeAndre Hunter at the 4. He's even played John Collins more at the 5. I don't like JC at the 5, but it's better than Frank Kaminsky. So I like the adjustment I'm seeing from the rotations by Nate McMillan. Any last thoughts on this game before we preview tonight's game against the Lakers?
I got one more thing. We had no. We should not have won. Even came close to winning that game.
The effort.
It was the effort, and to be down by 11 points earlier on in that fourth quarter with that type of offense that the Nets have shouldn't have came close.
Yeah, and you like that overall as much as a disappointing end. As much as that loss was disappointing in the end because of the last play and all the miscommunication, if you look at the game as a whole and just the box score and just the score overall, you could say, okay, the Hawks down 3 starters, starting a backcourt of Trae Young and Bogdanović, who you both know are not good defenders. This team fought hard against the hottest team in the league, who's now won 10 straight games.
Yes.
So overall, you've got to be proud of these guys. But hopefully we can get a win tonight to get back on track because we need to win badly. We don't want to go on a 3-game losing streak as we head into tonight previewing the Lakers. What do you guys think is going to be the key to stopping the Lakers tonight, who come in struggling? They've won only 2 games in their last 7, I think.
Drive and kick defense.
Yep.
Because they're a team that likes to drive, kick out. So just be disciplined on the perimeter. So guys like Jalen Johnson, AJ Hunter, those guys, they have to stick to their man and don't be too overly aggressive as far as coming off them. I would if I'm Nate, I'm telling them, just focus on staying on your man. Let those guys drive to the basket, play some solid defense, trust your big man, and just play, sound perimeter defense. Do not get caught up in trying to,
I really
focus
like the
on the
point
3
about
point.
I really like the point about the perimeter defense because the Lakers, as it's pretty well known, are terrible at shooting the 3-pointers. Terrible shooting the
Yes,
three.
yes.
They're one of the last teams in the league in terms of 3-point percentage and makes per game. LeBron is playing. AD is out. Right now, DeAndre Hunter is out for us, and Clint Capella is out. Trae Young, as of maybe 10, 15 minutes ago, was ruled available. So we'll have Trae Young tonight. We'll have DeJounte. We should have Bogey and AJ as well as JC. So we'll have most of our main guys, but unfortunately, Capella and DeAndre Hunter, our two main defensive guys for our wing and our paint, will not be there. So we're going to continue. We're going to have to see Onyeka continue to have great games as we see OG Truth joining us here. What's up, OG? What do you think about this Lakers game tonight?
Is it too early to say this is a must win?
Without DeAndre Hunter and Clint Capella? But maybe. I mean, we don't want this 3-game losing streak, especially with what's going on around the Hawks right now.
That's what makes it a must win. When I say a must win, I don't mean it's the end all be all if we don't beat the Lakers tonight. But it would be good going into the new year. It'll be good for the psyche of the team. It'll be good if nothing else to calm these damn fans down for at least 48 hours. So
I would hope so.
But it'd be good to get a win tonight. It's just so much going on. There's so much going on with this team. Look, man, as the Hawks turns, or Real Hawks Wives, or Atlanta, or whatever other catchphrase you want to put with it, it's just so much going on.
Just figure it out. Just figure it out. I don't give a damn. We hit threes. I don't care if it's 2-point shots. I don't care if it's a night where everybody's just going to the basket. Figure it out. That's the problem. The biggest problem, Ron, I'm gonna say this real quick, True. Like, the biggest issue is that they find a way to lose in the fourth quarter every time. It's always a different way why they lose. So that's my biggest concern.
That's what was encouraging about the Nets game. Down the stretch, we played really well. So hopefully we can continue that in a close game if it is that. But we want to blow this team out early because we know LeBron can turn it on in the fourth.
Oh yeah. I got a call today saying, no, there's no way the Hawks will win tonight because it's LeBron's birthday.
Yeah, it is LeBron's birthday actually.
Okay.
Man, LeBron needs that man needs about as old as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is. Like that. Look, he'll be okay. He'll probably have a career day and then he'll be load managing the next game.
Hopefully no Dennis Schroeder revenge game vibes tonight.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about him. I so forgot about him.
This not his first time. Coming back.
Oh, it's not. I know, but I just like to because obviously Dennis was thought to be a franchise piece for a couple of years before. Obviously, he definitely did not turn out to be.
Oh, I forgot about Schroeder. Good gracious.
He acts out.
He was good. He was good with us. So but
he axed out.
He did. Oh yeah, he did. He did want to get traded, especially when
he said he didn't want to sit through the rebuild. Him and Budenholzer.
Yep. And the Lakers defense has also been pretty bad recently. They're coming off a loss to the Heat when they allowed all 5 starters to score double digits. 27 for Jimmy Butler, 23 for Bam Adebayo. So we know their offense struggles on the 3-point line, and we know that their defense isn't the greatest. That is not a recipe for winning. So we should come away with the win tonight. But I've got to see great rebounding tonight from JC and Onyeka because we know LeBron is going to get in there for rebounds. Lonnie Walker's an athletic small forward. He's going to go crash the boards. And Russell Westbrook is obviously going to be hustling for boards when he comes in off the bench. So everybody's going to need to be active because this is an athletic Lakers team. They're athletic. They're not necessarily a shooting team. So you got to get up and down the floor, and it's got to be better than what we saw against the Pacers. It's got to be better because Clint Capella's not there to stop these fast breaks. Like in the Pacers game, they got downhill all the time. We can't have that against the Lakers. You know LeBron's going to look to get downhill. Schroeder, Lonnie Walker, these guys, Russell Westbrook when he comes in. So we got to make them a perimeter-centric team.
Yeah.
Any more last thoughts before we get onto some Braves talk right here?
Give me that effort. Give me that effort that they gave against the Brooklyn Nets, and I think the Hawks will be all right tonight.
Exactly.
It's the same effort. It's the same effort. The exact same effort.
Yep.
Not the same result, but the exact same effort.
I hope so. As we transition into some Atlanta Braves talk here, we've made a good amount of transaction in recent days. We traded for outfielder Eli White from the Texas Rangers, but we also traded for left-handed pitcher Lucas Luetge, who he was out in the Yankees organization for a couple of years, and we traded 2 minor leaguers for him. And I've said it all offseason. We need another left-handed pitcher, especially because Tyler Matzek is going to be down for the rest of the year. Luetge is obviously not an elite guy, but he's serviceable. He's a little older. We will have an older pen this year, but this is the left-handed pitcher I think we need. We didn't need that star caliber left-handed shutdown guy because we're getting Luke Jackson back. We're going to have Raisel Iglesias at the back end. We're still going to have these good bullpen, but we needed another lefty with Matzek out, and I think this is the right guy for the job.
As long as he's better than Dylan Lee, I'm cool.
Him and Lee will be the primary two lefties for sure.
Minter not there?
Well, Minter's going to be there, but we use Minter in high leverage situations. So
okay.
He'll be. You won't see Minter coming in for if a starter.
Yeah.
So, like the seventh.
It's going to be a closer by committee. That's where it's looking. It's going to pretty much be Iglesias is going to be the de facto closer, if you will, but it's going to be pretty much it's going to be about matchups toward the end of the game. I mean, if we up by 1 going into the bottom half of the ninth, then and the 3-4, we up 3-4-5. They got 3-4-5, and all of them are lefty power hitters. I'm not gonna run Iglesias out there. We're gonna run Minter out there. You know, that would only make sense. Is Colin McHugh still on the team?
Yes, sir. And he's been really good. He was really good last year.
I like McHugh. I see Jackson Stevens also re-signed with us,
and also Joe Jimenez when we traded for him from the Tigers had a real good year last year. So we still have a really strong pen that'll be good through the middle innings as well as that back end with AJ Minter, and Luke Jackson will probably come back at some point in this season. So we're gonna have a strong bullpen again this year after having a great bullpen this year, last year and the previous year. What did you guys think? Do you guys think that Lucas Luetge will be a main guy, or do you think he'll be more of a middle inning, 5 to 6 inning guy?
Don't know much about him. I don't know nothing about him.
Okay,
yeah, I don't know much about him, but from what it could be one of those guys that's like a Tyler Matzek, because you need him to kind of be, I guess, the Charlie Morton type of guy to come in and kind of provide some veteran spots, opportunities in high pressure situations to kind of help them get past a few innings or something like that, or a tough game. You need him to come in and spot up. I think that's more so his role until they find that guy.
Because last year he had a great year. He had a 2.6 ERA and 57 1/3 innings. He's 35 years old though. That's the thing. So we didn't give up a ton of minor league prospects. We also had to designate Leyman Diaz for assignment. So that answers our question from last week's show, whether Leyman Diaz is going to stay on the team. But I think he'll be more of that just solid piece that's not a high leverage guy unless he shows just like dominance early in the season.
That's simply because we needed that. We needed that spot on the 40 man. He can still show up spring training.
Lehman Diaz, yeah.
Yeah, he can still. He gonna probably still show up spring training. He'll have, and then at this point he'll have to battle. Battle for a roster spot. That's all. That's all they're doing. They're just saying you're gonna have to earn your way on the team. That's what DFA is. That designate for assignment. So hey, you got a choice. If you don't want to take the assignment, then hey, best of wishes. Other than that, compete. Shit. Pretty much.
And AA was working his magic again, extending Sean Murphy, who, the top 3 catcher in the league, who we traded for this year. We extended him on a 6-year, $73 million contract, and with a club option, a $15 million club option for 2029. We've got 6 out of our 8 position players locked up until the high 2020s. This team is going to be built for success for a long time. What's your guys' reaction to this extension?
Typical AA move. AA or the Braves front office will have to worry about paying nobody for a while.
The only guy is Max Fried. Max Fried in 2024.
We need to pay Max, in my opinion.
I think we do too, but I don't know. Yes. These contracts are just getting larger and larger. I've seen some people wondering if the Braves should trade Max Fried. Obviously, we're built to win now, so I'd be fine if the Braves just didn't trade him at all. Let his contract go all the way, and if he walks, if we don't get back anything, I'm fine with that because we are in win now mode. We're not trying to, get rid of these contracts for prospects and stuff like that. But what is your guys' reaction to seeing some of these comments and stuff from the media saying Max Fried is a trade candidate?
We talking about the same guy who we handed the ball to in the highest pressure situation after he had laid an egg in his previous start, got stepped on in the first inning, thought his leg was broke, and he gave you 6 shutout innings, 6 strikeouts.
Mad Max.
Huh?
Yep.
They re-signed that boy.
I hope we do.
In my opinion.
I
need to re-sign.
I think just the main thing I'm nervous about though is Alex Anthopoulos and how good he's a great GM. Obviously, we know. Look at these extensions. Look at how many pieces of the core we have locked up. But for re-signings and going into free agency, he has not really handled free agency very well. The extension,
no, he hasn't.
But we know when he values players, he's not going to waver, and that's my only thing about why I'm worried about how Max Fried might not be playing in Atlanta past 2024.
Yeah, I don't think he values Max that much. Max does have games where you're wondering, like, okay, Max, you need to get it together. He has, a tendency to kind of not pitch well in certain games. But when he's on, man, he's a tough cookie. So I'll say this. I would prefer to have him back, but I could see why he would be a trade candidate because he is, when he's good, but when he's bad, he could be bad.
He's bad like way rare. Like this year and last year was the first couple of years. I mean, he finished second in the Cy Young to Sandy Alcantara, who just had an enormous year. So
and it's more so the contract. I just want to make sure that it's more so the contract. That's why I say I understand why he's that he would be on the trade block because of the contract. The Braves have
I
spent
get.
a lot of money. They spent a lot of money. So I don't know if they want to financially because pitchers are different. One thing about pitchers is that once they're on the decline, that money is that money is not as well spent than position players. Because like
Think about.
now you look at um, L.A. They spend a lot of money on pitching, and their pitching is not as good as it used to be.
We
And
have
you kind
Bueller.
of feel that. So they're paying pitchers all his money, but they're not getting the value for him.
Yeah, Bueller's going to be out all this year with Tommy John for surgery, unfortunately.
Well, I'm kind of traditionalist on that. I'm kind of old school with it, and I'm gonna repeat what I said. High pressure situation, highest of pressure,
Game 7 World Series, or Game 6. Was it? Yeah.
hostile environment, extremely hostile.
Mm-hmm.
Philly just found that out. Extremely hostile. Got stepped on. What that's ended 2? On that playing first base, we thought his ankle was broke.
Yep.
He went out there and gave him 6 innings.
Shutout ball.
Shutout ball. In a clincher.
Yep.
That's what I see.
And that game, I do want to play a bit of devil's advocate here before we wrap up. I do want to say one thing, because while Max Fried is obviously, he is our ace for sure. He's actually not been great as a playoff pitcher overall in his career.
No, he has not.
But when you see that, do you think that's going to factor in a lot of what we value him and if he gets an extension or not? Because assuming let's say we make the playoffs this year, which hopefully we do, but let's assume we do, and we see another poor performance from Max Fried in the playoffs. Do you think that considerably cuts his value down because of his past playoff struggles? Or do you think look past that and still values him as like second place in the Cy Young voting like he finished in this past year?
Well, he can go out there and throw a perfect game. AA still gonna try to get that bargain, buddy. Hey, check it out, man. Ain't no salary cap in baseball. At a certain point, AA gonna have to be in for somebody.
Just
because he ain't been for nobody. People look at Austin Riley contract. Say, Austin Riley got the highest contract in the history of the Braves. Do y'all know that only equals out to $21 million a year? Look at Austin's contract. The largest contract in the history of the Braves. It only equals out to $21 million a year.
Yeah, that's as history of the Braves is crazy. Like,
so Max, how old is Max now? What, 28, 29?
Yep.
Hey, like we said on the previous show, hey, that age 27 to 30 range is when these guys getting their money.
And he's 28. He's right in the middle.
Yeah, so that's when they get their money. Hey, you might have to be in. We may have to be in for Max.
And I hope he does.
Unless, now, like you said, it'll be up to Max because if he go out there and he lay an egg a game or 2 in the playoffs and we don't win it, then that's gonna kind of shake the front office up a little bit where they won't pay him.
The only thing, sorry, go ahead.
I was shocked. The Mets let DeGrom walk to Texas.
Yeah, DeGrom signed him to Texas. I mean, Texas is going for a lot. They signed Nate Eovaldi as well, so they're going for it. But one thing that worries me, we've already had Freddie go to the Dodgers. He's from Southern California. You know where Max Fried is from?
He's from Southern California.
That is very worrisome. That's very worrisome for me.
I hope that
he was actually drafted by the Padres.
He was drafted by the Padres, and we got him in the Upton brothers deal. And look how that's turned out for us. So
I'm not trying to face Max. I'm sorry.
I'm not trying to see that curveball against us. I'll tell you that.
Boy, imagine Matt Olson having to see Max. You know,
Ooh.
all them arms and legs coming at you. No, man.
I don't want to see that.
Listen, if we can 1 year deal Charlie Morton, and he about 100 years old for $20 million a year, they need to go and pay Max. And guess what? Charlie been a rock for us. You got to think about it. A guy his age, hey, that's a godsend to get a guy his age that can eat up innings the way he do. Because that's what he do. Charlie just eat up innings. He gonna go out there. He gonna take the ball every fifth day. He gonna give you 6+ innings. Okay.
Even if he's struggling, he's gonna
even if he's struggling, he gonna still go out there. He gonna struggle his way through 6+ innings. And look, at the end of his last 2 seasons, breaking something. Like the only way you was able to get Charlie out the mound is you had to break something. Broke his leg in Houston and broke his how he break his arm, man? He broke his arm against the Phillies.
Against the Phillies, yeah. And one last thing I want to ask you guys about, specifically regarding Sean Murphy. What is your expectations coming in to Atlanta for Sean Murphy? So we knew what we had with Matt Olson coming here, another star. Now we have a star similar coming from Oakland, a really small market, not a lot of fans, not a lot of pressure. Now you put in a top 4 catcher in the league who is probably the best defensive catcher in the league, 2 at most, and you're putting him in a situation where you're competing for championships. What does that do for a player, and what are you guys looking forward to seeing from him?
To be ready to go ahead on take over as the everyday catcher, because Travis' body, even though Travis is not that old, his body makes him look old.
Yeah.
But see, the Braves are kind of playing with house money now with that catcher position, because if Travis do what he normally do at the plate, that's a guy that you could probably keep here. You could extend him for a couple of years.
Yeah, he's 33.
Yeah, you can extend him for a couple of years, and maybe he'll retire here and just let him do some catching and DH, and probably let him go play a little first base on some spot duty, something like that. Something similar to what the Giants did with
Buster Posey.
With Buster Posey. See,
Buster.
What's keeping Travis here is he hit that goddamn baseball.
Oh yeah,
he's another one. A high pressure situation guy. He hits it when it counts.
Yep, it was similar to Dansby in that way. When it's a pressure situation, he's going to come through more often than not.
Yeah, so I'm just expecting him to just come on in here, take over the everyday catcher. Shouldn't be no pressure on him because you got a good veteran like Travis here.
I like that 100%. And with that, we're gonna wrap it up here, but we're gonna end it like we always do. Where can audience find you, Ant?
On Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Just look up Big Ant or Mr. Jackson 19868 at gmail.com. And if you have any questions, you want to talk, hit me up.
Mike, what about you?
Mad Mike Sports on Twitter. Mad Mike Sports on YouTube. Mad Mike Sports on Facebook. Mad Mike Sports everywhere.
And OG.
So like we at the carnival.
Oh boy. Is that Mr. Jackson? Is it Miss Jackson's husband?
Hey. You see what y'all done started? You see what you
Now, you can find me under my government name, Chauncey M. King on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram at Big Scooby. Big Scooby 87. I forgot what the hell my IG is. But it's something like Big Scooby. But you can find me on Twitter at OG Truth with a 2 Hertz, HURTZ. You can also find me on my YouTube channel called The Kings Ransom, KINGZ RANTZOM. I can also be found on Sundays on Tooth Factor Media Radio. That's 2FM from 12 to 1 on the Big Verb Game Day Report. I am OG Truth Hurts. We're going to always seek and speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Mikey, get us out of here.
So help you guys.
You can follow me at PitWizard300 on Twitter. The recap on the Hawks hoops has been slow. Been a lot busy lately with a couple other big projects regarding the Hawks, but that'll get started soon. But mainly on Twitter at PitWizard300. But with that, we'll get out of here. Don't forget to tune in next week on Friday, 6 p.m. same time for another episode of Georgia Sports Nation. But with that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Yes, sir.